Wonder is having his rerun at the second phase of version 4.6 of Genshin Impact, together with our unhealthy doctor, Baizhu. Hi, this is Earlbedo. In this video, we are gonna compare and rank all the playable harbingers so far, namely Childe, Wonder, and Arlecchino, who was just released a few weeks ago. Last time, I made a Wonder vs Xiao video, and surprise surprise, Wonder actually won. Xiao mains were a little angry at me, but I tried my best to be objective there. You may watch that video after this, link in the description. Now let's see if Wonder still wins this time. So to rank them, we are gonna give points for every category they are good at. Here are the categories: how player friendly their kits are, how efficient they are in the overworld, how flexible they are in terms of team comps, how well they perform in combat, are they F2P friendly, and lastly, are they future-proof? To be objective, we are not gonna judge them based on how strong they are in the lore or how good their character design and animations are. Furthermore, the purpose of this video is to help F2P and low spenders see if the characters are worth pulling for. So if you have all the money to pull for the characters you like, or maybe you are already decided that your favorite character is the best in the world, this video might not be for you. To accurately rate and rank them, let's quickly talk about their roles in the team, and let me give you a quick background of their kit and talents. Take note that I will not discuss a detailed guide, but rather focus on their general abilities and roles. Childe is a main DPS whose gameplay revolves around his Riptide. He also deals massive damage with his normal and charge attack by triggering consistent Hydro reactions since he does not have an ICD, just like Xiangling in Hu when he is in melee form. But he has certain attack patterns and rotation needed to be practiced for him to work well. Next is Wanderer, who is also a main DPS, where his main source of damage is his normal attack and charge attack that are buffed by his skill. Among the other harbingers, Wonder has the easiest kit to understand. It is more straightforward than the two because he doesn't have complex mechanics like the Riptide and Bond of Life. He is also an Anemo Catalyst user, which means he can use the Viridescent Vener set to shred resistance of enemies, and support the sub DPSs too while dealing damage. Lastly, Arlecchino. Just like the two, she is a main DPS who needs Bond of Life for her attack to be converted to Pyro. And once converted, her normal attacks deal massive amount of damage. And I'm not joking, it's huge. She is a high risk, high reward character. I said that because she is the only one that can heal herself. Talk about an independent woman. Similar to Childe, Arlecchino has specific rotations you need to practice for her to give you huge damage. Now that you know how they work, who gets the point for having a good and player-friendly kit, especially for lower AR? It's Wanderer. I know some of you might be shocked, but remember we are just talking about their kit and not yet the damage output and combat. He gets his point since he is easier to play and his kit is easier to digest, but he can still produce good amount of damage. He is also less selfish since he can also buff his teammates using the Viridescent Vener set. His passive that saves Mora is also welcome. All of their talents are good. They're all considered great DPSs. I just think that Wonder is more low AR and beginner friendly. Childe and Arlecchino requires rotation that is well thought of and must be practiced, which I think the last thing beginners should think about. Before we continue, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel since I release Genshin Impact guides like this almost every week. How about Overworld exploration? This is quick. Based on their skills, Wonder and Arlecchino takes the point. They can both fly, which is very helpful for lower AR and even for old players. These two skills makes my exploration less stressful and more enjoyable. Sorry Childe, no point for this round. Moving on to who is more flexible in terms of team comps. To judge them, let's see their best F2P and non-F2P teams. By F2P, meaning it is composed of C0 4-star characters that can be obtained through wishing or through some quests, the Spiral Abyss, events, or in the Star Glitter exchange. Obviously, non-F2P for the more expensive 5-star teams. For Childe's F2P team, it is his variation of national team with Sucrose, Bennett, and Xiangling. This team was once considered the strongest team in the game, I believe even until now. He can also work well with Taster team. Just pair him up with either Fischl or Beidou, then 4-star buffers, then you're good to go. For his 5-star team, you just basically need to replace the 4-star characters to their 5-star counterparts, maybe except for Bennett and Xiangling. But for Sucrose, it's Kazuha. For Fischl and Beidou, it's Yai Miko. The list goes on, but I know you get the point. Wonder is pretty flexible too, just like Childe. You can also use the national team with just 4 stars. You can also do a hyper carry Wonder with just 4 stars too. Basically, you can just put sub DPSs with Wonder and it will work, especially like Xingqiu, since he works well with elements. Except for Jiyu and Dendro. And again, just like Childe, their non-F2P teams is just switching the 4 stars to 5-star counterparts. Last but not the least, Arlecchino. And just like the first 2 Harbingers, she has a lot of F2P teams, from national teams to overload teams with Chevrus. Hyper Carry is also a great choice, you can never go wrong with her. Hoyoverse did a great job on making the first 3 playable Harbingers very flexible in terms of their team comps. For Childe, not having ICD and being a Hydro user plays a big part. Wonder on the other hand is very flexible since he is an Anemo user that buffs himself and also other characters using the Viridescent Venerer set. But for Arlecchino, this is what she lacks. Although she has a lot of team comps, she doesn't have supportive utilities like the first 2. Hydro procs a lot of strong reactions, while Anemo characters can wear the Viridescent Venerer set. So in this round, the points go to Childe and Wonder. A big part of a player's experience in Genshin Impact is combat, how the character attacks and moves while fighting. For me, this is a very big deal. The common thing about these 3 Harbingers is that a big part of their damage comes from their normal attack and a little from their burst. However, their similarities might end there. Childe has a very smooth combat. His moves are swift and fast, very fluid while dealing high damage. On the other hand, Arlecchino's normal attack is fast but heavy. She has a high risk, high reward gameplay. Both of them require you to think about your next move, but when you do it right, it's heavenly. They give a more immersive feeling in combat compared to characters like Ayato, whose normal attack is just done by just holding it. On the other hand, Wonder is quick when he's traveling, but when in combat, it's different. His attack feels too light and he always gets staggered even by the smallest enemies. You might say this is a skill issue, but trust me, half of the time playing him without a shielder involves trying not to fall. So this round goes to Childe and Arlecchino. They are now finally catching up. Let's see if they can still beat Wonder in the next rounds. In this round, I'll be giving 3, 2, and 1 points respectively, depending on how they perform. We will try to clear the first half of the floor 12 of the Spiral Abyss and see how well they perform. Note that we will not use a timer, but we will observe how smooth the gameplay is, how they deal damage, and how easily they can finish the floor. Here is Childe and his build and stats. I don't have a full set, but let's see how he performs with the national team.
As one with wind and claw.
Everybody stand! Eat this! Out of the right!
Even without a full set, Childe cleared the Spiral Abyss in less than 23 seconds. I hope you remember he was released in version 1. Here is Wonder and his stats. I'll also use him with the national team.
Rain cutter! Rain out!
Bow your head.
Nice and spicy! Teamwork is strength! Witness the power! You're toast!
Squall and fury.
I think the Anemo Magukenki has an Anemo resistance, that's why it was the last one to be defeated. But still, Wonder did it pretty fast. But to be honest, it's not that enjoyable for me. But surprisingly, he did not get knocked down here. So good job. I have Arlecchino's best in slot, so let me just select a floor buff that won't increase her normal and charge attack damage unlike the first 2 I picked.
Time to go. Trent. Fallen leaves.
Gotcha! These are about to get dicey. I'm going in!
Arlecchino swept the Spiral Abyss very easily, and I really enjoyed her playstyle. It's very satisfying. Of course, this is not the entire story. They have different builds, artifacts, and other factors like who are the enemies we are dealing with, what are their weaknesses, is it a single target or a group. Overall, I think the most rewarding character with high damage and gameplay that is worth your effort is Childe, so he gets 3 points. She is followed by Arlecchino, who I think will be in the Hall of Fame for one of the fastest Spiral Abyss clear, so she gets 2 points. Wonder gets 1 point. He is very strong, but compared to Childe and Arlecchino, he falls behind just a little. They finally caught up with Wonder. We still have 2 more categories though. Just like with other categories, Hoyoverse did a great job making the 3 of these Harbingers be F2P friendly. I won't be discussing all their constellations, but at C0, all of them are already very strong, so no constellation is needed at all. For the weapons, Childe can use the craftable Hamayumi, which is so good. He can also use another craftable weapon, which is the prototype Crescent. And of course, the Rust. Wonder on the other hand, as a Catalyst user, he also has tons of choices. Dodo Tails is a free event weapon from the 1900s, so if you have this, Wonder can use it. Another very strong choice is the Wield Sit. I personally use this for him. Although the buff is random, it is still very reliable since it has crit damage stat. Lastly, Arlecchino surprised me. She can use the Star Glitter weapon, Blackcliff Pole, and a lot of other pole arms. But she is so strong, she can still beat the Spiral Abyss using just the 3-star weapon, White Tassel. It has a pretty low base attack, but the crit rate and normal attack buff is perfect for her. Overall, all of them are F2P friendly, so I'm giving all of them a point. I mentioned that this video is mainly for F2P and low spenders, so let's answer if they are worth the investment and if they will still be relevant in the future. By relevant, it means they will still work with new mechanics the game introduces. Childe, being a version 1 character, has proven how future-proof he is as a character. New artifact sets has been introduced like the Echoes of Offering and Nymph's Wind, and he can still use these sets. New supports and sub DPSs have been released and they still work with him. New reactions with Dendro were also created, and you guessed it, Childe can still make it work. Just take a look at this. Wonder has been out for more than a year now, and not a lot of changes were relevant to him. That is because I think Anemo characters are already grounded with their swirl reaction and the Viridescent Vener set, so I don't think that there will be significant changes for an already strong element. Arlecchino on the other hand is a fairly new character, so we cannot judge her yet. Pyro is very offensive, so I'm afraid it might not be as flexible as Anemo or Hydro. But Natlan is coming, so hopefully we may expect to see changes or upgrades in upcoming updates. This round definitely belongs to Childe. Childe took the lead by 2 points. To be honest, when I was making the video, I think Arlecchino will rank first. However, Childe proved that he can guarantee you crazy damage as long as you correctly perform his very specific rotation. He took the top spot because even though he has been out for a while now, he proved that he is still relevant until today and is able to compete with top DPSs like Arlecchino. On the other hand, Arlecchino, although very new, proved that she can be a reliable character both in exploration and in the Spiral Abyss. She is a high-risk, high-reward character that will surely give you satisfying gameplay in big numbers. Wonder got the same points as Arlecchino. He is very good in the overworld exploration and is very beginner friendly. I think that is his edge over the first two. Although he has downsides, like being easily staggered, that doesn't mean he is not worth your pulls. If you're an F2P or a beginner without a solid DPS yet, I highly recommend Wonder. Overall, the 3 Harbingers are worth their title both in lore and in-game. You can never go wrong with all of them. How about you? How would you rank the 3 playable Harbingers? Comment below. Again, this is Earlbedo. See you next time.